Hi everybody, this is Lips from the band Anvil. You're listening to Rock Hard with Jay Conroy and Mr. Lips. You know it.
I'm with Lips from Anvil. Lips, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay.
Dude, it is great to meet you in person.
All right.
It really
it's
is.
Better than not meeting me at all.
Well, there's that too. There's definitely that too. Now, I gotta tell you, I knew who Anvil was back in the day. In fact, I saw you guys open for Aerosmith at the Ritz, which was a club in New York.
At the Ritz?
At the Ritz. This is when Joe Perry and Brad Whitford
I didn't
were
know
missing.
that it was the Ritz. Not sure where we were when we played New York.
Yeah, it was over on 11th Street. And I remember you came out, you had like an anvil on the stage.
Okay, well, I mean, you remember it. It must be.
Because I was like, Anvil, I know
we
guys
did. We did a number of shows with Aerosmith all through the northeast. Yeah.
Because one of their managers had picked up
That's
on
right.
you guys, right?
David Krebs.
Right. But the problem...
He wanted to see what we were all about. And
Okay.
he put us on a bunch of shows with Aerosmith.
And now I only saw one of them. How'd it go? The rest of the tour with them?
With them?
Yeah.
Well, no one knew who we were.
See, I knew who you were because I'm in the rock
Yeah, but
scene.
I know. But generally speaking,
Yeah.
no one knew who we were. We didn't have distribution in the United States. We didn't have radio play. Only the hardcore people who were into hard rock at the time, and a very, very new heavy metal.
Right.
It was even before heavy metal was even a thing.
Yes, and I'm going to get to that. And touching back on what you were saying before, one of the problems with Krebs was he couldn't get you a deal that included your first 3 albums that were released in Canada.
Well, actually, what it was is the labels at the time wanted those first 3 albums
Right.
for free.
Oh, free?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
No. How about no?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happened.
Because those albums were doing okay in Canada, right?
Oh, we've been doing everywhere good all over the world.
Except
he tried
for
to
here.
tried to get us a deal in the United States, and when he went to go look for a deal, they go, well, the only way we're giving you a record deal is if we get the first 3 albums for free. So the label that we were on, Attic Records, said no, that's not acceptable. So what David did was he talked the label into dropping us, the Canadian label, which left us without a record deal. And then when David went to go get a record deal, they said, no, we're not going to sign them. They're from Canada, and we want the first 3 albums for free. And that's the end of it.
Right.
It ended there. So for 4 years, we had no record deal.
Now, when did you finally get a record deal? Because you guys, like, sort of broke into the rock mainstream in what, like 83, 84? People knew who you were? I mean, you were touring with some really big bands back then, but that was still when there was no record deal?
Well, no, we were not in the United States. Everywhere and anywhere else but the United States, which of course was the most important place to have had a record deal and been distributed and put on tour. We missed that we missed that ship. It left the port, and we were left behind, and that was the end of it. And there was no catching up. Once you lose that momentum, and 4 years of being out of the scene completely, because of course there was no record deal at all. So we're not even fulfilling our following and stuff in Japan or in the UK or in Germany, where we had doing really well, and we lost our momentum.
Now, I'm going to go back to something you touched on before. You said, we were heavy metal before the whole genre. Slash, Lemmy, Lars, Scott Ian, all big hitters, said you guys were the guys. Metal on Metal was the album that started a heavy metal movement, according to those guys. They credit Anvil for that.
Well, that's right. Well, there wasn't. Who are they going to credit?
Well, that's what I want to hear from you.
In North America, there really wasn't anything to credit. There's no one else to credit. To be honest with you, there was nothing else, and that was another part of the problem, because we were doing, when David Krebs is watching us playing 666 and Motor Mount, he's going, you guys shouldn't be doing music like that. No one understands it, including himself.
I saw that in a recent quote you put that Krebs knew nothing about heavy metal.
You shouldn't be playing songs like 666. Right. Hey, that's where Slayer and Metallica picked up the ball and ran with it.
There you go.
And we left in the dust.
That's
they
what
completely misunderstood, did not understand what the hell we were spearheading
right.
or what we were doing. It just, these guys are hot. He thought we were one of the greatest live acts he'd ever seen in his life, but he thought we were completely inaccessible as far as radio was concerned. So he knew that it was all about the live arena, that we needed to be exposed. But without a record deal, none of the promoters are going to be interested. So it was like a catch-22. There's no way. It was not in the stars,
right,
for us to connect at that point in time. Now, the way that everything played out, of course, we went the hard route. We put out 12, 13 albums.
You guys never stopped recording.
We didn't stop. Nothing stopped us. We just kept on going, regardless of what was going on in the music business at the time. Regardless of where that might be, whether it's the United States, England, UK, Japan, whatever. None of that really mattered. We just kept on going. So we didn't really get a further chance till like '87. And by then, we were kind of a background noise. It wasn't like we were in the forefront. And you lose your momentum and credibility when you're not been in the scene.
Right.
So you can't make up for lost time. But having said that, loading the gun, and keep loading the gun and loading the gun, by the time 2006 rolled around,
mm-hmm.
we were really loaded for bear. And along comes an old friend who we were good to when he was a kid.
For you, right?
Yeah, we were good to him when he was a kid. Comes back when he's in his 30s as a successful screenwriter for Steven Spielberg and goes, "I'm going to make a movie for you." Anvil ship came in,
so
to speak.
Yes,
now, had all that shit that we'd gone through not happened, there would be no movie.
True.
So when I saw David Krebs 30 plus years later here in New York, showing up at the Village Theater out in here in New York, I go up to him, I go, "Thank you so much for fucking me over."
There you go, right?
Because you know what? We both wouldn't be standing here right now had you done good.
That is so true. Now, I want to talk about, let me just go back a little bit. So you guys kind of, and I hate to use the term, but you faded from obscurity, or, just faded out, and everybody's like, what happened to Anvil, okay? So I guess around 2007, when the documentary was coming out, I'm in my kitchen, I'm hearing this commercial, and Slash and Lars and everybody, and I'm like, what is that? It's on VH1 or something, I said, wait a second, I heard of this. What is this? Yeah, I heard of Anvil. And it happened again, So finally, when it came, I ran into the front of the TV, and I looked at it, and I said, holy shit, look at this. They're going to do a fucking movie about Anvil. Now, Lips, I'm going to tell you, I went to the fucking movies to see that. As you know, rock movies, rock docs are usually one night only in the movie theaters, and that's it. I went to a small theater in downtown New York. I said, I have got to see this. I was so moved by the trailer. I went to see it, and I just sat there totally taken in, man. I was like, sort of like feeling you, man, watching you lug that shit, the food, and in the fucking cold, and I'm like, oh my God, this sucks, and just watching the whole thing. And a couple of things, man, that really got me is you are probably one of the most positive thinking, passionate people I've ever come across in my life. You're like, no matter what, we'll do this till we're old men, but no matter what, we're going to do it. Your families were going, it's over, got to give it up. They're going there, they're playing around Canada, people show up, but no. You just refused to give up.
Well, why would I give up? You give up what you hate, not what you love.
There you go.
And that's what life is about.
Yeah. And when it ended, you're like, or when the movie was coming to an end, you're in Japan, you get the phone call, we got a gig in Japan. Okay, and there I am, white knuckling on my movie theater seat, going, please let people be there, please let people be there, and it's packed, and you rock them, and it was great. It was one of the best rock movies I have ever seen, which is why I wanted to talk to you. I said, when I found out you were in town, well, I recently read the article saying, and I'm very happy to hear this, saying that since that movie came out, Anvil, the Story of Anvil, you've been able to play rock music for a living.
Absolutely.
And I was so happy to hear that. And then I did a little more check, and I said, they're coming to New York. I got to go see him. I got to talk to this guy. I got to meet Lips because it was such a passion of mine. And I tell everybody, you got to see that documentary. You got to see that documentary.
See, the thing is, when people make documentaries, they make documentaries about retrospect. That doesn't work. Ultimately, that does not work. That's what the biggest difference about that movie was. It's not about telling about tales of the past and how great you were. It's not about that. It's about how great we are now and where we're going now.
Right.
In the moment. And not blowing bullshit. It's not bullshit. And that's the other thing. Everybody who makes a video or a DVD or it's all blowing fucking fan shit. It's like, we are great. They don't show any of the hardships, any of the stuff that really is the truth. There's a dozen great bands and thousands of bands that are like Anvil. Thousands. Way more like Anvil than there is that have made it. No question about it. And if you're one of the bands that make it, going out and making a movie, who gives a shit? You already made it.
You already know it. Yeah.
What are you doing it? What are you even doing it for? And making, and if you're successful and you come at make an approach that you're not happy with your success, then you come across, well, some kind of monster. It's like, what's wrong with you fucking guys, man?
Right.
You got the world at your fucking feet, and you're fucking whining and complaining and going to rehab. Like, but whereas it's the polar opposite, a band who's had nothing but hardships, its whole fucking existence has a brighter outlook and is fucking happier to be on stage than a pig in shit.
Right.
It makes no fucking sense. But on the other side of it, it makes a lot of sense because the human nature is to whine and complain, even when there's nothing to whine and complain about.
Right.
But when there really is stuff to whine and complain about, then what do you have to do? You have to opposite. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to have a brighter future. If you close the door on the negativity and only think about the positive. Because when you're in a positive universe, all you can worry about is the negative coming in.
Sure.
So that's what the difference is. So you can't hope as a successful band or a success musician to make a DVD and do what Anvil did, because you're going to just come across as a whining little fucking baby.
Right.
What are you complaining about? So and then if you go out and you go how great you are, then you're coming on across as, hey, you're just a fucking rock star. You think you're fucking great. You come across as a pompous piece of shit.
Right.
So what's the right chemistry? What Anvil did. And you can't reproduce that. You need 30 years in obscurity and hard work and hardship and fucking a dozen albums and the credibility that other musicians who have made it look at you as something to look up to and something that inspired them. That's what's different about Anvil that makes it different, is you've got Lars and you've got Slash and you've got Lemmy, and the list can go is huge. And I'm not, it's not about patting myself on the back. It's about them patting me on the back.
Right.
I'm not saying shit. I don't go around telling people I'm great. People tell me I'm great, and that's what the difference is.
Yeah.
And that's not my job to go around telling people how great I am. Let the word spread from what I do and how I go about doing it. That's That's what it's all about.
And those guys are some really big endorsements too. You got those kinds of guys telling you.
Yeah. So at the same time, when I have those kind of fans, does it matter to me that there's there's people that have a negative view of Anvil? I couldn't give a rat's ass. You know, if Paul McCartney can fucking shake my hand, it's an honor and a pleasure to meet you, sir. Does it matter who the fuck doesn't like me when you get respect from that kind of level?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean shit.
Right.
That meant the world to me. Jimmy Page telling me, "You give us all hope. Thank you." Those are the kind of things that I live for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about money. It's not about record sales. It's not about how many people came to my gig. It's about getting the gig.
Mm-hmm.
And getting paid afterwards, and then moving on and going to do the next one and the next one and the next one, and never have an end to it. That's what it's about.
Right.
It's not about making the millions of dollars. It's about making a fucking living. I'm working on the first million just like the rest of the world.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. And there's the scene in the movie where a club owner doesn't want to pay you, and I would not want to be the guy that does not want to pay you. So I said, look at this, he's a badass. He is not taking any shit. You back the guy up against the wall.
Well, there was a level of empowerment. You have to understand, there's a cameras watching me, watching this. And what, am I going to let the world see me take it up the ass?
Right.
I'm not gonna stand here like a fucking asshole and take it. I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're not gonna pay me, and I'm gonna show the world that I'm not a pussy.
No, you are not a pussy. That's for sure.
I did my work. If you don't want to pay me after I did my work, that's not right, and you're going to hear about it. And I'm not going to take it lying down. I might be in tears at points in the movie, but it's not because I'm a pussy. It's because of being passionate.
It's passionate,
about believing in what I'm doing, saying what I mean and meaning what I say. That's what it's all about, man.
And you know, I think too that it's not just for rock and roll where that movie inspires people. It inspires people in life. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's not. It could have been two bricklayers who owned a company.
Right.
It's the same shit. It's believing in yourself. It's going after your dreams and not letting go. And getting away with it. And gearing your life and guiding your life the way you want it to go. Taking possession of it. It's really what it's all about. Because we only get one fucking chance.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck what stands in my way. I'm going to fucking knock it away and get through this. There's always a way. You have to find it and be determined. That's what it really is, man. Because you can beat all the odds. And when I say this, it's true about anybody who's ever become famous or ever become successful at a business. You're going to fail. You got to know that. But you're going to win. You got to learn from your mistakes, and that's how you get better. And that's what it all is, man. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not about just winning. It's about the journey itself. The way that I always looked at it, who gives a shit if I never get anywhere? But boy, did I have a good life trying.
There it is. Yeah. Good.
It's not about the end result of the bag of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's about the journey to get there.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. So the band is doing great. You guys just released another album last year, Pounding the Pavement. Yep. Appropriate title, because that's still what you're doing. Bitch in the Box, the single from that, which is a great tune. And I love the way the video starts, because it's almost kind of picking up where the movie left off.
Well, the thing is, it's the second you see us talking, it's completely, instantly reminiscent of the movie.
It is.
That's how most people know us, is by not our music, but our humanality.
Right.
That's if you could call it that.
Well, humanality is fine. You have major likability too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching the movie. You're rooting for you. You're rooting for the band. You're rooting for Rob. You're rooting for both of you.
Yeah, very, very interesting drama curve in the way that the movie was created.
Yeah.
Very little showing about the actual band and the playing, and that was intentional. The whole idea was we got to make everybody want to come see you.
Yeah. Or
Ultimately,
go out and buy some of the
and go out and
music.
buy the music.
Yes. Well, I'm very happy for you. You guys have been on the road constantly.
That hasn't stopped, and actually I was talking about that. Since the movie, I have not had a day off.
I love that.
Well,
yeah, I know you still you got a family life,
fine.
but
That's fine for a 20-year-old, but we're talking about since I was 50, I have not had a day off. I'm 63. It's 13 years now of non-stop. Non-fucking stop.
How often do you get home? You must get home at some point.
Yeah, I get home, but even when I'm at home, I'm still working because I'm writing another album and I'm doing gigs in around town in between. It's been non-fucking stop. It's not complaining. I'm saying it like it is. And I could use the term, be careful what you wish for.
Right.
I could say that.
Right.
But having said that, I got my dream come true.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm happy and I'm content. If it ended tomorrow, I got it all done.
Yes, you did.
That's really the way I look at it. Because all I ever wanted was to make a living and not have to do deliveries. And it's been 13 fucking years since I've done a delivery. So I'm all good.
And you know what? That's why I had to come here and talk to you, man. You definitely are a huge inspiration. I saw some, I know you got to run in the States here. You're going up to Canada for a bunch of gigs. But I saw a big announcement on your Facebook page today. You're going back to Japan.
Of course.
Yeah.
We always have to go back.
That is great.
The Japanese are a great stronghold for us. We have a number of places. We've been doing very well on a whole worldwide basis, and I'm probably one of the biggest things that I'm proud of as for myself. And it may not equate financially, but being accepted and loved in the UK is one of the biggest things in my life.
And why is that?
That's where heavy metal really comes from, isn't it?
Yes. I do know a couple of bands that do great over there.
And to do well in the UK, you need to be fucking good, particularly lyrically.
Right.
Where we get no appreciation, maybe here we get all the appreciation that I could ever hope for or dream of out of the UK, and that's what puts the wind in my sails, so to speak.
I am glad to hear that. Lips, I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time. This has been a long time coming for me.
Okay.
To actually be able to, sit down and talk to you, man, and an absolute pleasure to meet you in person. And may I say, you look healthy and good nowadays.
Well, I quit smoking about a year ago now, and it's like I've completely rejuvenated my being.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more awake. I've virtually quit all smoking, and that includes pot. I use pot only for one purpose, and that's to open up my imagination. So it's only once in a while when I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to write a
sure.
Like as an example, I'll smoke a joint, sit down at my computer, turn on the recording apparatus, and sit there for 4 hours and load the fucking thing with massive amounts of ideas. From that turns into our albums. And believe it or not, you do that 3 times and you've got an album.
There it is.
I'm dead serious when I say it. And that's basically how I use it and why I use it. But beyond that, I'm not smoking to get normal.
Right. And you can't do that out here anyway, out on the road, in order to keep going strong and work this much.
And the energy that it burns out of you, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean it can't work for somebody else, but I got to a point in my life where I go, it doesn't work.
I agree. I hit that point myself.
I can't smoke anymore. Can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
When I'm waking up in the morning and going, wake and bake, it's like something's not right about this. It's not working anymore. I'm smoking to get normal. I feel like shit if I don't smoke. That's no good. And I'm not really getting high.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm not getting inspired to write, which is why I liked smoking to begin with. Was, wow, look, I got a great idea. Oh, wow, I got another great idea. That's what smoking does. It opens up that window to the imagination, universe of imagination. That's what it's really the best for me, and I don't know if it is for everybody, but for me, that's what it does. And the more you smoke, the window gets more and more shaded.
I agree. I smoked for a long time, so I know exactly what you mean.
So it's actually, you're better off if you're going to use it properly, and then it's all good.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I know you got a show to get.
Moderation.
Moderation is the key to life. That is true.
That's it.
All right, I know you got a show to get ready for. I want to thank you so much again for the time.
Okay, no problem,
Absolute
man.
pleasure to meet you. Lips from Anvil, everybody, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a good day, sir.